I first became interested in this career when I was 14 years old. I used to watch reruns of a TV show called WKRP in Cincinnati. There was a disc jockey on there by the name of Dr. Johnny Fever, played by Howard Hessman. And I watched how he lived his life as a radio DJ. And I said to myself, well, if I could live my life like that, that's what I want to do. And I got hired at WVU in January of 1997. There was a hiring freeze at the time, so I really didn't move here till May of that year, or rather June of that year. And I started as a production assistant, and I did that for 6 years, got promoted to producer-director for 4 years for the university, and then the athletic department hired me as a senior producer in 2007, where I've been ever since. Crowd reaction is my favorite aspect. If you can do something that gets the crowd to react in a positive way, you've done your job. That's not the easiest thing in the world. Whether it's laughter, roaring, cheering, anger, stuff like that. Anything that gets people talking is my favorite type of video. And that's what I strive to do every day, make something like that. You just kind of think of them in your context constantly. I watched a movie and I think that would be good on the video board. A lot of stuff is other people did it first, and you kind of build on that. Sometimes you steal it from them, sometimes you build, and people will steal from me all the time. They certainly have. Just kind of always keeping an open mind and keeping the book open at all times to write a new chapter. And any kind of media you watch, whether it's a movie or a TV show or a GIF nowadays, or even or GIF, however you say it, or any kind of clip on YouTube. Think, wow, that would be kind of cool to play at one of the video boards at our venues. I think fans would like it. Constant need to be creative. And unfortunately, I make it look easy. A lot of people here make it look easy. It's not easy at all. Being creative is something that's very difficult, time-consuming, mind-boggling. And unfortunately, that's what people want most. They want creativity. They're not afraid to tell you when they don't think something is not creative, even though you might think it is. Or something you might think is mundane and unimportant becomes the biggest thing you've ever done. So there's always those new surprises, but anything you do, you always have to try to keep the best interests in mind, and that's hard too. Making sure that you're not offending people. It's real easy to offend somebody, and I'm not talking about just a fan. I'm talking about an athlete. You worry about their parents. You worry about officials, believe it or not. The other team, you don't want to offend the other team. That stuff's easy to do. You can always find fault in your opponent or your adversary, but you can't necessarily do that. So you try to walk a thin line of meeting all those needs without offending